What's up? What's up?
What it do, Bean Crew? It's your boy Savon Thomas back with another episode of Coffee and Comments. Today I'm going to review the limited series on Netflix called True Story that stars Kevin Hart, right? And I am becoming more and more a fan of Netflix's limited series. It's kind of like a mix between a TV show and a movie combined. Like, TV shows are great, but it just elongates the story over 10 seasons when you're trying to tell me what happens. And then movies are great, but then you wish you would have had a little bit more sometimes, right? You wish you would just had like a little taste more of what happens, right? And so that's why I love these limited series, because you have, 5 to 10 episodes, and it tells the entire, story that you want to tell. But then just one season condensed, you watch it, boom, you got the story, you got the movie. And I'm starting to like, these limited series. You have True Story, you have, Queen's Gambit was a limited series as well. There's another one I can't think of right now. It's a limited series, but it's pretty good as well. But I'm starting to like these limited series. I think I like these more than just like traditional movies or traditional just TV, because sometimes they elongate the story just a little bit too much. You're like, bro, give me what's happening. Tell me what's happening. And so, if you guys haven't watched it, like I said before, it stars Kevin Hart, also stars Wesley Snipes as well. And it's not really a true story. At least I don't think it is. Who knows? Kevin Hart lives a wild life. But they tell the story from Kevin Hart's perspective. And it's basically the same life that Kevin Hart leads today. So it's about a comedian who's famous, who's in movies, basically same situation as Kevin Hart. They don't name him Kevin. They don't name him Kevin Hart. They don't name him anything. They call him Kid. That's his name. His name is Kid. And he's from Philadelphia, same as Kevin Hart. I don't know if Kevin Hart is the brother like Wesley Snipes, but story is Kevin Hart comes back to Philadelphia to do a few shows in Philadelphia. He's his big name. He's close to making $1 billion, whatever. Living a great lifestyle. He has a older brother that is the opposite of that. So, he's been taking care of the older brother, feeding him money, helping him get a restaurant up and running. His brother's always been a screw-up type of character, which is played by Wesley Snipes. And so Kevin Hart hasn't really talked to him in a few years. Comes back to Philadelphia. Wesley Snipes' character takes him out of town and does all this other stuff. And what happens is he doesn't really drink anymore, but his brother gets him to drink, all this other stuff, and he brings a girl back home, and she ends up dead, right? It's a long story what happens. And so from there, it ensues trying to cover that up, and things that happen past that, dealing with like the mafia and Russian mafia and crazy fans and a lot of different things that end up happening in the story that were compelling. The premise is really good. The acting, I think Kevin Hart did a great job. It wasn't a comedic role. Like, he played a comedian, but he wasn't telling jokes. Like, he was a serious actor in the role. Wesley Snipes does a great job as well. And I enjoy it. The other characters, they play their role well, but it's kind of, I say other characters. He has a security guard. He has a person that writes jokes for him. And then he has a manager. And I feel like the characters were really just kind of like extra. Like, I know, and they were, obviously, because it shows, his life. But they really didn't add much to the story other than just saying, hey, we are his support cast. Like, they don't really add much. Hirsch, I guess the bodyguard does, but other than that, nothing really. Most of the story revolves around Wesley Snipes, revolves around Kevin Hart, his character. I mean, it's not actually Kevin Hart, but who knows? This could be a true story. And then there's some other characters that pop in there that I feel like have more prominent roles than those other 3 people I mentioned before. And so yes, all this happens in one weekend, entire weekend. The ending is done well as well. I figured it out pretty quickly though. And so when the ending came around, I was like, yep, that I said this from the freaking beginning. And so I liked it. I mean, it wasn't like an amazing limited series. Like, I gave it a 7.2 out of 10. So it's good. Like, I watched it. I watched the whole thing. I mean, I enjoyed watching the whole thing. I was ready for it to end after 6 episodes, because I was like, okay, I know what's going to happen, and it happened. So, but it did play a story outline well. Like, this couldn't have been a movie, it had to be a limited series because it made more sense that way. But also couldn't have been a show either. So I like this type of model we have going with this limited series on Netflix. But true story, check it out if you want to watch it. Some people enjoyed it way more than I did. I said 7.2 out of 10. Just kind of, I wouldn't watch it again. But I did enjoy the watch that I did watch. So that's my review. Thanks for tuning in. Coffee and comments.